Welcome dear grade 12 students to this video, which is about the writing of module 4b, page 62. There are two objectives for today's video. The first one is that we are going to analyze the components of a model advantages and disadvantages essay. Then we are going to identify both organization, style, and linkers used in the given essay by answering questions of exercise B. Please open your student book, page 62. As for exercise A, you will find 3 questions. Please pause, take your time, think for answers to these questions, look up this new word in the dictionary, and once you have finished, please follow. Now, are you ready? What do you think voluntarism is? By the way, it's voluntarism in British, and it's voluntarism in American English. And it is a blending of 2 words, volunteer and tourism, which means doing volunteer work for a charity, plus tourism, which is traveling for pleasure. So the person right here is a voluntarist, which means that he is traveling for pleasure, and at the same time he is volunteering to teach these children how to read, perhaps English stories or something. Another question: why do you think people sign up for voluntarism projects? Perhaps they want to explore another culture, or discover the aspects of other cultures, while at the same time while helping those in need. Or perhaps they may wish to challenge themselves and grow as individuals by developing their abilities of perhaps tolerance, perseverance, etc. Others may need to raise their awareness, their understanding of the difficulties that people face, and strengthen their sense of social responsibility and compassion. By the way, we pronounce this word as if there was a K letter after the G right here, strengthen. Okay? As for you, would you like to sign up for a voluntarism project? Why and why not? You may say, yes, I'm interested in volunteering for a charity and touring throughout countries for these reasons. You can give your own reasons. Some of you may say, no, I may find it difficult, especially nowadays, because of the outbreak of the epidemic that we all know about, right? Let's start exercise B by reading and analyzing this writing task, this one. Sometimes we call it the rubric. Okay, and think of the 2 questions down there. So pause and take 3 minutes. Once you have finished, please follow. This topic is about voluntarism, okay, and this part is called non-defining relative clause. The writer uses this adjective relative clause between 2 commas, which means that it is non-defining. We can do without it, but it adds additional explanation of the word that precedes. So voluntarism involves traveling to help communities in need. This is the first part of it, volunteering work, okay, around the world. This voluntarism has increased in popularity in recent years. In what way do volunteers benefit from voluntarism, and what are the possible drawbacks for them? Okay, write an essay in which you discuss both sides of the argument, justify and expand on your ideas. The first question here: how will you present a balanced argument of the topic? This will happen by presenting both the benefits and drawbacks of voluntarism. the pros and the cons, the advantages and the disadvantages. Okay, what exactly are you requested to do? You are requested to write an essay in which you discuss both sides of the argument. This is why we sometimes call it argumentative essay. Okay, how will you do this? By justifying and expanding on your ideas. To justify means to give reasons, to say why. To expand on the ideas is to give details and more examples of them. Okay? Now please reread the writing task and the introduction given here, and pay attention to tick the statements given from A to G down page 62. Okay, take your time, take 3 minutes, and then follow. In the introduction, dear students, we introduce the topic. How do we do this? By paraphrasing the rubric or the writing task. We rewrite the writing task using our own words. Can you recognize the paraphrasing that happened in this introduction? Please follow this. In the writing task, the writer has used increased as a verb. Has increased. This is a present perfect tense. He used it again as an adjective. Increased awareness, increased understanding. This is a participial adjective, which means that mainly it is a verb in the past participle, but it is used here as an adjective, which they call participial adjective. Okay, so increased awareness of social issues like voluntarism. This awareness has resulted in more and more people, paraphrasing the word popularity, choosing to serve a worthy cause, which is the first part of voluntarism, volunteering. This is a worthy cause, a noble idea, noble principle, okay, while discovering the world around them, which is the second part of the word voluntarism. Okay, so he paraphrased voluntarism using 2 expressions. The first one here, yes, it's a phrase, right? And the second one here is an adverb phrase. Although most people view voluntarism positively, this is the second idea right here. In the introduction, you inform the reader of the balanced argument of the topic. Balanced argument means that you will present the positive aspects, okay, and the disadvantages. Although most people view voluntarism positively, there are those who warn of possible disadvantages. To develop a clear idea or a clear point of view on this issue, we must examine both the pros and the cons to determine how the voluntarist is affected by this experience. My advice is that you can use these 3.5 lines again in your writing. Whenever he asks about something other than voluntarism, which is, for example, online learning, you can say, although most people view online learning positively, there are those who warn of possible disadvantages, etc. Okay? In this paragraph, the writer has put all the advantages together. So please pause, take your time to read it carefully, and try to identify the linking phrase the writer has used to introduce the pros, or the first side of the argument, the linking word or phrase he used to list the pros in detail, and answer this question: how many pros are there in this paragraph? Also try to identify the justification or explanation he mentioned for each and every main idea in this paragraph. Take your time and then continue for the feedback. Okay, done. He says, on the one hand, this phrase is used to introduce the prose or the first side of the argument. Volunteerists can benefit in various ways. An introductory sentence. Firstly, this is a linker used to list the advantages, and this is the first one of them. The work they do is particularly rewarding. Again, the work they do is particularly rewarding. This is the first topic sentence, and this is its justification. Why is their work rewarding? Because they help communities in need deal with serious problems, and what they do can have a lasting impact or lifelong influence. In addition, this phrase is used to add another advantage, right? And here you are the second topic sentence or main idea or second benefit. Volunteerists develop a deeper understanding of social, ethnic, and cultural differences. How does it happen? This is the explanation. As they interact with locals and experience firsthand their way of life, or they experience directly their way of life. Furthermore, this linker is used again to add another advantage. What follows is the third topic sentence, which is volunteerists build character. How do they build character? As they are challenged by the situations and circumstances they encounter. They enhance their critical thinking. They build their sense of what is right and what's wrong, and develop qualities such as respect, compassion, perseverance, humility, which is modesty, and gratitude. So the linking word or phrase to list the prose are firstly, in addition, and furthermore. This is also the answer to question number 4 down page 62. What phrases does the writer use to list the advantages, right? The second part, we will answer it in the next slide. Another point, the justification, he used because and as twice in order to introduce the justification for the main ideas in the paragraph, right? Here the writer has put or gathered all the disadvantages in one paragraph. So again, pause, take your time, read it, and try to identify the linking phrase he used to introduce the cons or the second side of the argument. Try to identify the linking word or phrases he used to list the advantages, and try to identify the justification, explanation, or exemplification for the main ideas in this paragraph. And for question number 3 down page 62, it's at the same point like number 1 here. What two phrases does the writer use to introduce the paragraphs with the two sides of the argument? You still remember the one used before in the previous slide, which was on the first hand or on the one hand. Okay, take your time, and once you have finished, please let's discuss. In this paragraph, the writer used on the other hand. This is a phrase used to introduce the cons or the second side of the argument or the second paragraph in general, right? Traveling abroad to do volunteer work can have negative effects on volunteers. One obvious disadvantage is he is introducing the first disadvantage, right? They may be putting their health at risk, as this is justification. They may be required to work in conditions that they are not used to. Another significant drawback is, he is listing another drawback, another disadvantage, the effects of culture shock on volunteers. These include, this is justification or explanation, these include feelings of isolation, loneliness, and homesickness, which is sometimes called nostalgia. In extreme cases, another explanation or exemplification, culture shock may make it impossible for this person to function in a new environment. Lastly, he is introducing the last disadvantage. Volunteers may lack the necessary training or skills to efficiently contribute. If the work does not fit the volunteer's interests or skills, he may end up feeling frustrated and useless. So the writer has used these linking phrases or words in order to introduce or to list the disadvantages in details. And as for the justification and explanation, he uses as, and these include, for more examples or exemplification, in extreme cases for another explanation, right? Dear students, in this conclusion, the writer used to sum up as a phrase or a linking phrase to introduce this conclusion. To sum up, it's clear that traveling to help communities in need can affect volunteerists both positively and negatively. This is a summary of both sides of the topic. Concerning the positive aspect, while it can satisfy their need for connection, growth, and contribution, it can also, and this is the negative aspect, can also put them at risk both physically and emotionally. At the end of the conclusion, the writer states his opinion. For this reason, whoever wishes to give back to society, it means to be charitable to his society, should take the time to seriously consider all available options, as volunteerism may not be for them. This is question number 6, down page 62. Has the writer done what he was requested to do? Yes, indeed. What makes you say so? Because the writer has done everything. He has introduced the topic by paraphrasing the rubric or the writing task, and this is what you should do in writing an advantages and disadvantages essay, right? Use appropriate linking words and phrases, provide justification and exemplification for the ideas, present balanced argument of the topic, be neutral, and use a formal style. This is an extra elaboration on the style of writing. What is the style of writing in this essay? It is objective, impersonal, and formal style. How did the writer achieve this formal style? By using formal language. In other words, what kind of language? Indeed, it is a formal language. But the main question is, what features of formal language can you find in this essay? So this is very important. It's about the features of formal language. Some features of formal language are, number 1, using formal vocabulary. So the writer used various instead of many. The writer used encounter instead of using meet. The writer used noun phrases like this one, traveling abroad to do volunteer work. This is the first sentence in the third paragraph. The writer also used long or complex sentences including noun clauses. While this one was a noun phrase, traveling abroad to do volunteer work, this is a noun clause. While it can satisfy their need for connection, growth, and contribution, it can also put them at risk both physically and emotionally. So this is a complex sentence. Using also, this is number 4, formal linking words like furthermore, formal linking phrases like for this reason. There are some other features like using the passive voice and the modal verbs. Okay. As for the organization of the essay, as we have discussed, the writer has organized his essay in an introduction, and then one paragraph for all the advantages, another paragraph for all the disadvantages, and a balanced conclusion. Next video, inshallah, will be on the same topic, so please follow. Thank you so much for watching this video.